So, are we safe and sound? This is what my Saturday sit-down is going to be about today here on Keeping It Real with Alex Garrett, the Saturday sit-down portion. No interview, just I cannot stay quiet today because we still are talking about the biggest action of the Trump administration to date, which is, of course, the killing of Iranian General Soleimani. And as I was talking with Claire Lopez yesterday, as I've been saying, the bottom line here is that we got a bad guy, a terrorist. Some would say, oh, well, look how he's wiped out ISIS. Most would say, look how he killed so many Americans. Look how he was going to plan to kill more Americans. Look how he orchestrated the attack at the Baghdad embassy. But now the big question is, and by the way, breaking news, they just identified 35 U.S. targets for retaliatory attacks. I'm sure Trump will be on that, hopefully, to stop them before they kill 35 Americans as a result of the killing of this general. And they're going to have a 3-day mourning period, whatever. But the question here now is, how are we going to be safe and sound, as the song says, by capital cities? Well, here in New York, according to John Miller of the NYPD, we have arrested several Hezbollah sleeper agents in the city, including Ali Karani and Samir Al-Depek. They were arrested over the past couple of years after long-term investigations by authorities. You know how they did it? They did it by finding out that they were taking pictures of city landmarks and subways. And here in New York City, we stopped those mother whatevers. And that's a good thing. Because we need to know that our law enforcement is on its game, especially with Iran's sleeper cells, and it seems like right now they are. According to Miller, those who were arrested were caught before this week's drone attack on Iran's second most powerful man, Soleimani. Officials say Soleimani, who led the Revolutionary Guard Corps, the Islamic. It's funny that 10 Winds leaves out Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, but they're Islamic. No doubt about it. Led a special forces unit called the Quds Force to finance and direct Iranian proxy organizations like Hezbollah. And now cities across the U.S. are ramping up security. John Miller says, we already know that the Soleimani directed the most experienced terrorist organization under his control to study New York City. So tell me again how he's a good guy. Tell me again how Soleimani, it was worth keeping alive if he was directing all these terrorist organization operations to study New York City closely the day the Iranian government decided conditions were to strike on U.S. soil. Tell me how this is a good guy we should keep alive. Hello? Anybody? Bueller? I didn't think so. Miller continued, whether it's Iran, Hezbollah, Al-Qaeda, or ISIS, the terrorists will continue to focus on New York as the media capital of the world, as well as America's safest big city. We will continue to heed the help of our citizens as our best spotters for what looks suspicious in their own daily environments. Here's the problem with that. If we do report someone, we are then labeled Islamic phobic. We're labeled racist. We're labeled racial profiling. Well, we're really just trying to keep our city safe. People would say, oh, look at your racial profiling again. You're being a racist for calling out someone for simply taking pictures. But I agree that if we spot something abnormal, we should act on it immediately. So tell me again how you think this guy is a good guy to keep alive. I don't think so. And so I wanted to break out today on this podcast to tell you how our city in New York is preparing for this, how we've been cracking down already, thank God for that, and what we honestly need to do more of. And And I'm fighting with people on Facebook because there are some extreme radicals who disagree that Soleimani should have been killed. They think he should be still alive and planning all these attacks. That's the problem here we face. You know, in 2011 or 12, when we got bin Laden, the whole world cheered. Now, because it's Trump, no one is happy on the left. It's not a bipartisan cheering when it should be a bipartisan cheering. But to know that our NYPD is on top of their task to keep us safe, it's comforting this Saturday. The Saturday after the killing of the second most powerful Iranian general. It's comforting. Now, I want to get you the other update. Iran already planning out 35 retaliatory attacks against our Americans. See, here's the thing. And by the way, we're putting more troops in the Middle East amongst all this 3,500 more. So we'll have to see how that goes. But according to the Daily Mail, they are ready for striking Americans. And this is where other countries are a little more civil. What do I mean? Russia will expel our diplomats, but Iran will kill them. They will jail them. They will torture our guys in their cells for simply being American. And if you're okay with that, I'm sorry, you're not American enough. If you're okay with them torturing and killing Americans and saying he should still be alive, then how can you yourself be an American right now? You can't call yourself that. You simply can't. And let me get you this other breaking news. So, what's happening is there are potential targets in the Gulf as well as Tel Aviv. The Strait of Hormuz is a vital point according to General Abu Hamza, saying the Strait of Hormuz is a vital point for the West and a large number of American destroyers and warships cross there. So 35 U.S. targets have now been identified for retaliatory strikes. And if you think our military is going to let that happen, I think you're dead wrong. I think you're dead wrong. I think we will be evaluating their assessment. We'll have the best intel out there. We will be safe and sound. I truly believe it. And, you know, the weekend following Benghazi, just a side note. The weekend following Benghazi was all about, it was a video. Of course, I was too into sports at the time to even know what the heck was going on. I know 4 of our guys were killed, and that was horrible. But they were claiming it was a video. Instead of saying it was a terror attack. Well, at least Trump, when Benghazi's embassy, when Baghdad embassy for the U.S. was attacked, we didn't sit down and take it. We didn't sit silently. We attacked them harder. You know what Trump said over the campaign trail? He said, we're going to hit 10 times harder. And he's been showing that and proving that day after day when our guys are attacked. So it's nice to have the different conversation of, well, should he have attacked or not attacked, instead of, is it a video or not a video? I'd rather us debate the fact that we took action, even though we should agree with it, than say, let's talk about what it was, instead of acting on what it was, which was terror, like Benghazi. So in a way, having the debate of whether it was legal or not, I don't even think Obama got congressional approval to raid and kill bin Laden. I think he just did that, and America cheered him for it. But this truly is the anti-Benghazi. And people will not care. This truly is America being justified in killing one of the top terrorists in the world. And no one would care on the left. And that's sad. A lot of Democrats to their credit said, yes, he should be gone. And that we won't miss him at all, which is a great sign that they were on board with the killing of him. Then, of course, they complained about the legal act. Well, Trump did what he had to do. Obama did what he had to do. And now We have to set up for their retaliatory. Mike Pompeo says they're prepared. I believe him. And on the Saturday sit down, I pray for our nation. I pray for this country that we do not end up in a war, but that we are right on in saying that we prevented war from happening by killing this top general. That's my Saturday hope, my Saturday thought. And again, I'm just glad we're debating whether or not he should have attacked, rather than whether or not it was a video. To find out it was a terror attack, to find out that resources were actually cut by Secretary of State Clinton back in 2012, before the attack happened. Before the attack happened. Here, no cutting back. Here, we're shoring up our bases to make sure we can continue to protect our Americans overseas, our diplomats overseas, and those 35 targets will be protected. And I think we're going to do a heck of a lot more to prevent Iran from actually doing something. And here in New York City, several agents from Hezbollah have been arrested. And again, organizing attacks in New York City was what Soleimani was doing. Thank God he's gone and off the earth. And maybe that just cuts off the supply for good. And then we can catch everybody else, because there were 2 others, Iranian terrorists that were killed as well, which no one talked about, but the AP reported. So things are happening. We are protecting our guys, men and women. We are protecting this country at home and abroad, and we will be safe and sound. That is my prediction on the Saturday sit down of this edition of Keep It Real with Alexander Garrett. Have a great day. Enjoy the playoffs. Texans, Bills. Heart wants the Bills, but I think the Texans might have it. We'll have to see. If the Titans beat the Patriots, I'll be shocked as ever. And then tomorrow, of course, Saints play and the Eagles play as well. It's the NFC tomorrow. I'm going to make my prediction on that one as well. I just got to load up the scores again. Saints, Vikings. I think you got to give that one to the Saints. Just got a hunch. And then Seahawks, Eagles. Seahawks might run train over the Eagles tomorrow in Philadelphia, because Russell Wilson's pretty good. But again, thank you, NYPD, for keeping us safe and sound, for arresting those who have been plotting here in New York City. And thank you for your vigilance. And to every citizen out there, we must be vigilant from now on. Don't care what they say if it's racial profiling, or that you're a racist, or that Islamophobic. We are at war with trying to prevent attacks from happening. That's the war we're at right now. So if you can do your part, thank God for that. Because that's the end of the game, right? That we're all where we're not going to be safe and sound. I think at the end of the day, this killing shows that we will be safe and sound.